but that's alright.
Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Max in a Wonderlands video, and today Wonderlands actually got a massive patch. I was not expecting this at all. We've got a ton of balance changes, improvements, and Chaos 100, which is very bizarre. I'm going to be breaking down everything you guys need to know. Let's get right into this video. Alright, so there are a ton of changes here. I'm going to be going over all of the major ones, and I will have the patch notes in the description if you want to check them out. Also, apologize for my voice. I kind of just woke up. So to start us off, they are increasing the amount of crystals that you can spend at the bunnies in the Chaos Chamber. So originally, the max you could spend was 500 crystals. They're increasing that to 2,000, which is amazing because on those long Chaos Chamber runs at the higher Chaos difficulties, you would spend most of your time just hitting a button, rolling gear from the bunny. So you can now spend 2,000 crystals at a time to just dump all of your crystals to get all your gear way faster. So that's a really, really good change. I like that a lot. Also, they said the loot table has been updated to use the lowest quality rabbit gear up to 200 crystals, and then use the best tier quality onwards up to 2,000 crystals. So it sounds like you're also going to be getting the highest quality of gear by spending 2,000 crystals, and then 200 will be the lowest you can use. Next up, they're adjusting the Chaos mode, and in this reads, previously higher Chaos levels would be too difficult compared to expectations. The global modifiers for enemy damage and health has been decreased. Lower quality gear will phase out as Fate Makers progress through higher levels of Chaos mode, and increased Chaos mode cap to 100 and adjusted the Ascended gear weight scaling to accommodate the increase. So instead of having a cap of 50 Chaos, we're going to 100. They are not adding a new rarity above 100, but you will be able to get more and more, or your Ascended gear rate drop rate will increase as you go to 100, and it sounds like they're decreasing the scaling of the Chaos modes, but by adding more levels, they're also going to be adding more difficulties to mess around with. So mid-recording, I actually just heard back from Gearbox about Chaos 100 and some of the changes that are coming with it. They're increasing the Chaos trials to give you 5 Chaos levels per run. If you did not know, if you run a Chaos trial, you would go up in Chaos. So if you did the Chaos trial for Chaos 35, you would then get to Chaos 36. They're changing that to now only take you 10 Chaos runs or 10 Chaos trials to get from 0 to 50. Prior to that, it was you'd get 5 from 1 to 20, and then I think 2 from 20 to 35, and then 1 at a time from 35 to 50, making it kind of a slog. I know a lot of players never actually made it to Chaos 50, so they're making it a lot easier to reach Chaos 50, and then you've got the Chaos 50. I think you're going to have to do 1 at a time from 50 to 100. There aren't adding a new rarity. It's just for higher chances of Ascendant gear. I'm like kind of mixed on my opinions on this. I think the Chaos trial increases from giving you 5 each time is a really good change, but I'm going to wait to form some of my opinions until I actually get to play out some of these difficulties with the boss changes, with the different Chaos scaling increases, and see how Chaos 100 feels. And let me know if you guys want Chaos 100 builds. All right, next point. Next up, they did a bunch of like UI improvements, or they listed a bunch of UI improvements. The UI on PC, I don't know how it is on console, still a lot of the times doesn't properly work or display item cards, so hopefully this is the patch that fixes that. Next up, we've got gear-specific changes and reported concerns. There's a bunch of stuff here. Effects of Class Ring would occasionally end early when the Fate Maker's action skill was cooling down. Wards with the Vibing enchantment would deal critical hit damage added to the attacks rather than multiplied by the attacks. The biggest one here is the Cursed Wit would lose its damage increase if the ward was depleted when the Fate Maker swapped maps. That is now fixed. The Cursed Wit, which in my opinion is still the best shield in the game, is now properly working for all instances, so that's huge. They say the Spellblade would use any melee damage rather than a melee hit, and the item card description wasn't accurate to what was happening. I'm not totally understanding that change, but we'll see how the Spellblade's still working. And then this is a big one. Mosquito Mantle's passive ability would do unexpected double dipping on its damage when the crossbolt would hit the target. So it sounds like they took out the Mosquito Mantle double dipping entirely, which is a good change in my opinion. Mosquito Mantle was the strongest class mod in the game and it wasn't even close. So that should open up some more class mod diversity by taking out its double dipping. Mosquito Mantle, in my opinion, should probably still be very useful for like cooldown stuff. I just don't think it'll be doing that same crazy damage that it used to be doing. Next up, we've got some boss-specific nerfs. They're nerfing Drill and Wastard's shield regen. These two bosses are notoriously difficult. Drill in its second phase would regen a ton of shield. They're nerfing that. And Wastard also had a way to recover a ridiculous amount of shield from its spectral aegis. They're also nerfing that. They're also nerfing some boss attacks, such as Nightmare's charge attack damage by 60%. So Nightmare should be hitting you a lot less hard. They're nerfing Wastard's damage. These bosses should now be a lot more manageable and less of a headache when you come against them in the higher levels of the Chaos Chamber. So that is a good change there. Next up, we've got some class-specific changes. For starting off with the Clawbringer's Rebuke skill, which would not increase the damage for allies when the Clawbringer equipped armor with a Clawbringer power increase. Cool change there. Blightcaller's Bog Totem action skill would occasionally not activate after using it at the same time as the spell. Blightcaller's Bog Totem would not be able to be placed in some areas of Mount Craw. Very interesting, never encountered that. And the spell shots Ambihextress would not receive 2 stacks of spell weaving when casting 2 spells at the same time. So it looks like they're not really changing anything with class balance, just some fixes. I thought maybe the Blightcaller might receive some nerfs, but they're keeping Blightcaller as is, which I like. I like that a lot, and mainly just nerfing the Mosquito Mantle. And lastly, the raid boss event that they've been doing is continuing. This is the 5th week of it. Basically, if you're not familiar with this, they're taking a random enemy in the game and just buffing it to 100 million HP and giving it new legendary drops and guaranteed drops. These things guaranteed drop their drops, which is always really nice. But the Obsidian Wyvern in Tangle Drift will be dropping the Claw, the Joint Training, and the Blaze of Glory. And they didn't actually specify an enemy. It just says Overworld Mini Dungeon will be dropping the Red Hellion and the Hawkins Wrath. So maybe an enemy in the Overworld Mini Dungeon, unless there's one specific one, will be dropping Red Hellion and Hawkins Wrath. But don't be surprised if you're doing the Overworld stuff and run into an enemy with 100 million HP. Guys, that is going to do it for the patch notes. Some really big changes here. Most notably, the Mosquito Mantle getting nerfed, bosses getting nerfed, and the restructuring or rebalancing of the chaos modes and the addition of Chaos 100. That's absolutely wild. I'm very curious about Chaos 100. I'll be trying to reach there and see what builds work at Chaos 100. Let me know what you guys think of these changes. Oh, and the last one, the really big one, was the increase being able to use 2,000 crystals at a rabbit. That is very nice. If you guys did not know, Gearbox recently announced that they have more plans for Wonderlands as a franchise. Whether that means Wonderlands 2 or more content for this game, we shall see. We genuinely don't know. But this patch indicating that I think they're still planning on doing more stuff for this game. So that's very cool. I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.